Hooty hoo, all my stock market gamblers. Welcome today. I'm Tall Mike. So glad you're here. What's going on? Well, we had something really strange happen yesterday. We had a down day in the market. Both the NASDAQ and the S&P, both down. I don't know what happened. Was the plunge protection team asleep? I really don't know what happened there. But you see, we're still well above the 20-day moving average, right? Okay, now if we come down below the 20-day moving average, then we might have a problem. But history for the last 8-10 months, right? We've been coming down to the 20-day and bouncing off it. And that's probably what we'll do this time. Now, on the other hand, maybe we do what Bitcoin did. It went down to the 20-day and it just crashed right through it. It's coming down, right? It's possible the stock market's getting ready to come down. I think that will eventually happen. We'll see if that plays out. All right, let's get over to some other topics now. Now we got inflation numbers. Guess what? Inflation, it's gone. It's gone. It's all fixed. Inflation's gone. There's no inflation. Prices went down. Prices went down. Do you believe that? I don't know if I believe that. But yeah, prices went down. That's what they said, right? We don't have an inflation problem anymore. First time in 4 years where prices went down. This is great news, right? We can now lower the interest rates. Oh, we got to lower the interest rates. And I think this is just the narrative they're saying, but they're preparing you for lowering the interest rates because they have to lower the interest rates. If they don't lower the interest rates, what happens? All of the zombie companies go away because they can't afford to stay in business at the higher rates, so they have to lower rates to keep those businesses alive. What else are they going to keep alive? They're going to keep alive the banking system. If they don't lower rates, the banks are going to be falling over. Now, they're going to fall over anyways, but if they don't lower the rates, they're going to be falling over just like dominoes, right? I mean, I'm talking 100, 200 banks just going like dominoes straight down. So they got to lower the rates. I agree with that, and lower rates are coming. Lower rates on the short end of the curve, right? So the 2-year, the 3-month, all those, they're going to lower them. They're going to lower the Fed funds rate to try to keep the banks alive, to try to keep the bad businesses alive, to try to keep us out of a recession. You know, we got an election coming up. If we lower the rates, maybe we can get the current administration to stay in office. If we lower them enough, maybe they'll lower them like 50 points, 100 points. Maybe they'll just keep lowering them all the way to zero, trying to keep this thing going as long as they can. Okay, so that's a possibility. Now, what else happened? Oh, also, besides the inflation numbers, what else is going down? So inflation, prices are going down. We know what else happened? For the first time in several years, houses are now selling below the list price. Houses are selling below the list price. This hasn't happened for 3 or 4 years either. It's just like inflation. Maybe that's what's bringing inflation down. The houses are starting to drop. They're starting to sell below list. This is really weird, especially for this time of year. This is the hot selling season. This doesn't happen at the hot selling season. This is a big problem for real estate. This is really bad news if you're a seller. Kind of good news if you're looking to be a buyer. You know, it's been years since we've had this. Now, what else is happening to cause this, right? Well, we're also having the most record number of price reductions, more price reductions than ever been recorded. As right now, we have the most price reductions going on in the inventory that's listed. Now, the inventory that's listed is starting to spike upwards. Why is that? We're going to talk a little bit more about that. Okay, we're going to talk a little bit more about that. But there's a shift going on in real estate. You see, the home buyers, the buyers now, they're realizing, hey, time is on my side. Time is on my side. I don't have to jump in and buy right now. Prices are starting to drop. Time's on my side. Prices are coming down, right? And it hasn't been like that for a while. There was the FOMO thing, right? Where they had the big fear of missing out. They had to get in. They were going to run out of houses for sale. But now all these houses are coming onto the market and prices are starting to be reduced, and they're now selling below list price instead of above list price. If I'm a buyer, I might just sit back and watch the show for a while. This is going to be a fantastic show. You're not going to want to miss it. Kind of like a horror movie if you're a property owner, I guess. But other people, if you're a buyer, you're going to enjoy the show. Sit back, get a Coke, get some popcorn, just relax. Don't do anything. There's no time's on your side. Very few things in life where time is on our side. There's no urgency anymore for the buyers to buy. But Mike, they're going to lower the prices. They're going to lower interest rates, and that's going to send the prices much higher. It's going to send them to new record highs. I listened to Dave Ramsey. I listened to Barbara Cochran. As soon as they reduce the interest rates, those home prices are going to take off again, and all the houses they're going to sell, and I'm not going to be able to get one. Well, that would be Barbara Cochran and Dave Ramsey's take. My take, when they lower the interest rates, you know what? I'm not even convinced when they lower the rates that mortgage rates are going to come down. I think mortgage rates might actually go higher. I think the long end of the curve, which is a lot different than the short end, we talked about this in the last video, the long end might actually go up when the short end comes down, right? I mean, that's a possibility, and I see that happen. I really do. I think mortgage rates are going to be over 10% soon. Isn't that going to be interesting? What's that going to do to property values? Not going to make them, it's going to make them come down. Not going to make them soar up like Barbara Cochran thinks. All right, so here's the thing. Okay, let's say they lower interest rates, okay? And I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt. Let's say mortgage rates come down. Is this going to make house prices go up? I'm going to argue no. Why is that? Well, think about it. Okay, so what made house prices go up, right? Well, they raised interest rates from 0% to 5.5%, right? That's the Fed funds rate, and mortgages went from 2.8%. I know a lot of people are locked in at 2.8%. I mean, that's an incredible rate. A lot of people locked in at that, right? But when they went from 2.8% up to 7, up to 8%, what happened to home prices? You would think that would make them go lower, right? But it did not make them go lower. It made them go higher. Why? Because everybody's locked in at that 2.8%. Now, what if they lower them back down? Well, if it gets down to, let's say if they get the mortgage down to 4 or 5%, maybe that 2.8 isn't that important anymore. Maybe that guy will let his house go then. Maybe there's a reason that the inventory is starting to come onto the marketplace. Now, here's what we got. We got the start of what's called forced selling. We had that back in 2008. People couldn't make their mortgage payments, so they're dumping the houses. But Mike, I'm locked in at 2.8. There's no forced selling. You're locked in at 2.8, but your neighbor, he may have bought in the last 2 years. He may have paid up here at 7 or 8%, right? Okay, and he paid that high price for the house. He paid the price way up here. He paid $1.2 million where you only paid $1 million. So you feel that you got an extra $200,000 in equity right now. But you see, he's got to sell now. Now, why does he have to sell? Well, he's got a 7% mortgage. They told him mortgages would come down. They told him his equity would skyrocket, but his equity remained flat, right? Doesn't have any equity, right? It hasn't gone up for the poor guy. He's bought in the last 2 years, we've been flat. And he's paid 7 or 8%. The interest rate didn't come down, so he can't refinance, right? Okay, so he's got a problem. Now, why does he have a problem? He didn't expect this thing that's called inflation. Now, they'll tell you there is no inflation, but I'll tell you, his insurance went up by 30%. His property taxes went up. His maintenance fees went up. His utility bills much more than 30% upward. He's got some problems. It's called inflation. He can't make the payment. He doesn't have any money. He doesn't like this home ownership thing. When he was a renter, he didn't have these problems. He wants to go back and be a renter, so he's dumping the house on the market. Well, he can't get 1.2 now. He's got to lower it to $1 million. Oh no, that's where you bought at, isn't it? He doesn't get any buyer, though. He's got to come down 900,000. And all of a sudden, he sells at 900,000. That's the new comp. But the neighbor on the other side of you sees that he got out, and now he's got to get out, so he's down here at 800,000. But you're up here at $1 million. Your house is worth $1 million. You're not going to sell for a penny less. Great. Write it down, write it down, write it down. We're circling the drain now. You see, the forced selling is coming onto the marketplace because they didn't expect inflation. They didn't expect rates to stay up. They expected the houses to soar up higher. But if you bought in the last 2 years, you have a big problem. I know this triggers a lot of people, especially if you just bought a house, and especially if you're counting that as your whole net worth. Most people, their house is all their net worth. I've got a lot of my net worth sitting in my house. I mean, that's where it all is, it's in my house. And that's where the money is. I could sell it. I could go sit on the beach somewhere and live out my life. But I like where I live. I'm staying. But anyways, a lot of people are tied up. So this triggers them, right? I mean, I've been called some bad things, I've been called, you're just a stupid realtor. You don't know anything. How have you stayed in business this long? Oh, my favorite one. What was the comment? Oh, the dumbest YouTuber ever. I am the dumbest YouTuber ever. Now, let me ask you a question. This guy's calling me the dumbest YouTuber ever, but he's the one watching me. I don't know what that makes him, but if I'm the dumbest YouTuber ever, wouldn't you just click the channel? No, you got to troll. You got to troll. You got to get on there and you got to troll the guy, right? Oh, man, the things. But anyways, a lot of people get triggered. They get triggered so easily. They get triggered when I say house prices going to drop by 40%. I understand they don't want to hear that because that's where all their money is, and they'll be wiped out. And a lot of people are going to get wiped out. I talk about the dollar. It's going away. I say to buy some gold and silver. Oh, man, that triggers some people, especially those Bitcoiners. Oh, they hate when I say buy gold and silver. But Mike, Bitcoin's going to save us, and maybe it will. Look, I'm not saying don't buy Bitcoin. I love Bitcoin. Look, one is for having real money, your wealth, and that's gold and silver for me. And Bitcoin, man, that's my gambling money. I put my gambling money up, down, up, down. I love gambling in Bitcoin. Don't say I hate Bitcoin. I love Bitcoin. It's the best gambling vehicle we have. But those people get really triggered by saying that gold and silver is a good investment. Look, you can tell me all you want that's not going to be worth anything, and maybe it'll go to zero someday. I don't know, right? But I started buying gold at 300. Now we're at I just bought an ounce the other day, over 2,500. You got to pay 2,600 now to get that same ounce. I just paid 2,550 because gold, it keeps going up, right? I mean, it's pressure on gold. It's going to continue up. And gold's not really going up. You see, gold stays flat, right? Everything else moves against gold because gold's real money. Gold and silver. I'm telling you, a lot of people don't want to buy gold. But my gold's going to be confiscated. Everybody knows that. Great. Get silver. Silver's never going to be confiscated. Never been confiscated. They can't confiscate it. Silver's in everything. You couldn't build anything without it. Couldn't build solar panels. Couldn't build those electric vehicles. You couldn't build your iPhone. You couldn't build anything. Silver's not going to be confiscated. Get the coin of the realm. Get all coins before 1964 that have 90% silver. You're going to be fine there. It's very cheap right now. I think you're going to 10x that easy. Right around $30 an ounce silver. I think 300 is the price it should be, and it wouldn't shock me if it went well above 1,000. That's just my take. I don't mean to trigger anybody. Look, if you don't want to do it, if you want to buy it, put all your money in Bitcoin, please. Shiba Inu, I'm good with that too. Dogecoin, why not? I'm not telling you to do anything. I'm just telling you what I'm doing. I'm not selling you anything. I don't have anything to gain by telling you the truth. Look, yes, I'm a real estate broker. Yes, I do own my house. Okay, does that make me bad? No, that's just what I'm doing. Look, it is a good time to buy a house right now. Absolutely not. Worst time I've ever seen, and I've been a broker since I was 18. I'm an old man now. And I've never seen a worse time to go out and buy a house. But Mike, it's always a good time to buy a house. Just ask Dave Ramsey. Just ask Barbara Cochran. There's never a bad time to buy real estate. And that may be your take, and I'm okay with that. If you want to go out and buy a house, please do. Us realtors, we need the business, right? There's so few transactions right now. We can't get the business. So please go out and buy a house if that's what your heart is set on. Don't let me or anyone else stop you. If you want to be a bag holder, go be a bag holder. It's perfectly fine with me. I'm just telling you what I would advise, I mean, that's all I'm saying. I got a little bit of gold and silver. I believe in it, right? I do some gambling with Bitcoin. Bitcoin. I believe in gambling with Bitcoin. It's fun, man. That stuff moves, right? It was 75,000, now it's 55,000. Who knows what it'll be next week? Maybe 35, maybe a million, maybe go to a million overnight. But don't get triggered. If you get triggered watching my channel, please change the channel. I don't want to trigger you. I don't want to upset you. People are just on the edge, right? Because they got a lot of stress, a lot of pressure on them because of this inflation thing. They can't pay their bills. They can't make their rent payment. They can't pay their mortgages. So people are a little bit edgy. And this weekend, it's the weekend now. Get out there and relax this weekend, everybody, and take the edge off. I'm Tall Mike. You like this stuff? Give me the thumbs up. Why not? We'll talk again real soon. Bye-bye now.